As you guys can see, it snowed outside, so that means it's Christmas. So if it's Christmas, that means another Scooby Doo review video. Specifically, all the Christmas Scooby Doo episodes, because for the last 2 months, I have posted Scooby Doo reviews covering the month's specific holidays, like the Halloween episode and the Day of the Dead episodes. Without further ado, let's go into the Scooby Doo Christmas episode, all the way from the new Scooby Doo mysteries, all the way to Be Cool Scooby Doo. Let's just start this whole thing off with our first episode, the Nutcracker Scoob Part 1. This episode starts off with an establishing shot of a building holding a Christmas pageant for later that night. Daphne is wearing a Santa costume as Scrappy and Fred decorate the tree with some help from kids, adding their own lyrics to the song. Fred wants to find the right place for this nutcracker. Then Tiny Tina gives us a good idea.
Teddy thinks it should go on the very top of the Christmas tree.
Then the Scrooge. Winslow Nickleby comes in, ruining this fun by wanting it to buy back the building. Scrappy and the cat get into a little fight, sending them outside. Winslow gives us a threat. They dress up for rehearsal. Fred, as the director, sets up our next scene. The ghost appears behind Shaggy. It says,
I am the ghost of Christmas never.
The boys look through their script, then run off. Everyone runs outside. The trio distract the ghost as elves and sends him down a hill in a sled. They go back inside into a destroyed set and find clue number 1, a pin with WN. The teacher automatically knows it was Winslow. They head out on the mystery sled. At Winslow's cafe or whatever, we meet more characters and find out where Winslow is. Outside of Winslow's window, we now know.
Like, did you hear that? It sounds like he's in cahoots with the ghost.
And he's after an emerald somewhere in the children's home.
The boys dress up again as chimney sweeps. Scrappy snaps a picture of the will, then they escape. Back at the pageant area, they read the will. Emerald is in the star. They head up to the attic to grab the golden star. The ghost of Christmas Never already has his hands on it. They run out the window, ending us on a cliffhanger. My thoughts on this episode. I didn't like how they animated Shaggy and Fred's outfits, or like their coats, because in the original show that even came out before this one, they had an all green shirt for Shaggy and in an all blue jacket for Fred. So it's like, they didn't even have to, why did they change it? I mean, this one was like brown or whatever for like Fred, and then there was like brown bits on Shaggy's jacket. Like, that's not how it was animated before. Why didn't you just, I've been playing a lot of multiverses, and I hate that Shaggy's pants are blue in the game. That came out in May, and yeah, this video is coming out in December. So, yeah, whatever. And also, too, I totally forgot Scrooge was a part of this. I mean, I know Scrooge is like a part of Christmas stories and all that, but I totally forgot he was a part of this story specifically. And I also thought it was a different ghost. I thought it was the one from Happy Birthday Scooby Doo with the red skull. But, yeah. Anyway, let's get on to part 2. Part 2 starts off with the boys still hanging. Scrappy snatches the star from the ghost, and then decides to join the boys outside, making them fall, ending up right back through a chimney. And then Scooby comes out as Santa and the others as elves. They trick the ghost into the bag by telling them
He brought you a huge golden star.
and pushing them in. As they go to show the others he escaped, with the emerald isn't in there. Winslow appears, not knowing of the ghost.
You mean you know the ghost personally? What ghost?
Then we are told that they have to leave the first thing in the morning. Later that night, they put on the show. Winslow is there. The boys perform. Winslow figures out the will, thanks to his very nice lady next to him.
Wonderful! It's Nutcracker, the
Winslow crashes the show by looking for the emerald. Tina saves the cat. Winslow tells them what he figured out as the ghost runs by, grabbing the Nutcracker. They chase him on skis. They surround him. The boys send him flying. Scrappy finds the emerald. Daphne unmasks the ghost to be... We get her reasoning?
So when Nanette overheard Nickleby talking about the emerald, she decided to steal it for herself.
And Daphne's goof.
We were holding it upside down. We thought the initials were WN for Winslow Nickleby, but they were really NM for Nanette Musette.
Winslow comes with presents and rips the document commending the building. Episode ends with a Christmas-themed Scooby outro. My thoughts on this. It was a pretty quick change-up for Winslow. Tina just saved his cat, and he's all like, that's the meaning of Christmas. And then, what was this show? Like, was it the Christmas Carol like we got in episode 1, or was it a fairy tale like we got in episode 2? Because that's just confusing. I know you can probably do a pageant with multiple things, but this is just weird. And that's all. Next episode. That being a Scooby Doo Christmas. The episode starts off with 4 kids walking in a snowy forest. They find a giant snowman. While one of the kids is climbing on the snowman, it comes alive, throws its head straight into our title card. After that, in a little credit sequence, we learn...
Boy, Daphne, it sure was nice of your uncle to let us use his condo over Christmas.
Fred spins out, we find out the bridge is out, so they...
Why don't we head back to the last town we passed and see if there's a detour?
They arrive to the town, the kids run by. Shaggy looks up and says that's probably why they're running away. The 3 of them start going to a restaurant, but then Shaggy and Scooby crash into them, and we also learn...
Don't say that word round here. Winter Hollow doesn't celebrate Christmas.
While Scooby is finding a rat, we learn that chimneys fall every day. The cop gives long directions around the bridge. They decide to stay. They go to a busy hotel, thanks to the snowman. The only room left is a janitor closet, which Daphne quickly and completely changes. And while making a sandwich, the snowman attacks a house nearby. Shaggy picks up a brick that are heavy. After that attack, it's time for business. They follow the tracks to the snowman. They hide in a storage closet that gets sent down a ramp and over Tommy's house, making him believe. Asher becomes suspect number 1 for his business blowing up. The professor arrives. He gives us the origin story of the snowman. Professor runs off to Tommy's house. They head to where he may appear next, Old Jeb's house. The lights and fire go out. Then the snowman appears, destroys a chimney, knocks his head off, and starts our song and chase.
Santa Claus, one gift's enough for all of us.
After that, the boys are stranded over a frozen lake, which breaks and they fall in, freezing. The others save them. The sheriff appears after the attack and becomes suspect number 2. And Jeb becomes suspect number 3 because he wants everyone out of the town. The trio head out. The boys stay at the hotel to warm up and are attacked by the snowman. The trio made a trap and take their places when the boys get closer. Snowman melts, revealing a device. Velma presses a button. The doors open to reveal
Professor Higginson.
he gives us a confession.
Well, that gold is rightfully mine.
Why? Are you a descendant of Blackjack Brody?
No, he's William Fagin Higginson, a descendant of the man Blackjack robbed, Seamus Fagin.
It's true.
They head back to Tommy's and find gold bricks. Tommy forgives the professor. The professor gives the gold to everyone. And the episode ends with everyone around the Christmas tree. I had to kind of speed this one up because my battery's dying. I don't want it to die right in the middle of it. My thoughts on this. I love that the boys weren't a part of the trap making process, but were still the bait. I like that it also got its own little intro type thing, like in the other holiday videos I've done, like in the Halloween episode and then the Valentine's episode. This is officially the first holiday episode in What's New, but I just like how they kept up with it in the other 2. And I love it when Scooby Doo gives us multiple suspects. In the latest show, Guess Who? They only give us like 1 or 2 people, and it's obviously that it's not the guest star, and it's obviously the next person they have. Like in the Urkel episode, they give us multiple people, but the one person that loves him is the person. Anyway, and like I also love that they give us reasoning of their motive, like his business blowing up and everyone wants to be out of the town, and that she appears at everything. So like it's just perfect. And that's all my thoughts for this episode. So on to our next one. That being the Scooby-Doo short film, Scooby-Doo Haunted Holidays, from the Scooby-Doo 13 Spooky Tales, Chills and Thrills DVD. This short film starts off with a Christmas parade. Velma and Daphne are on a float throwing out candy. With Fred, we learn...
You'll have to excuse my uncle. You see, his business is failing, and if he doesn't sell enough toys this Christmas, he'll lose the store.
No wonder he's a little crabby.
It's worse than you think. Something's really changed him this year.
One of Velma's candies bounces off of Scooby's head, having it land in a yard nearby. Scooby and Shaggy go to grab it, and a snowman comes to life. Everyone scatters. Roll the intro. After that, Scooby gets frozen. The gang and Santa run into the toy store. Monster backs away into the snowstorm. And we learn that was...
The sinister snowman.
Fabian goes to check with his uncle. The Santa we have is a Scrooge, and he goes out into the storm and then gets taken, is what we're led to believe. They go up to the top of the building and apparently the back of the glockenspiel. The uncle shuts them out. Fabian tells us of the curse. The gang grab gear from the store to power through the storm and across the street. They head inside and split up. Fred and Daphne find rockets and silver iodine. Shaggy and Scooby find miniature train tracks, a fun mirror, and a sinister snowman. And Velma finds a postcard. She gets trampled by the duo. The snowman makes them slip into the others. The snowman freezes the toy store door. Now it's time to...
Order a pizza?
Yeah, like with double anchovies and pineapple.
No, Scooby.
We have to figure out a way to trap him.
The trio plan as the uncle and janitor watch and act very suspicious. Well, to us, we see that they act suspicious, so then we're on like, oh, hey, it's them. Shaggy and Scooby patrol as Nutcrackers. The trio gets to the boiler room, then frozen. The snowman then goes to the boys. The boys run into Santa. Shaggy saves Scooby in a red car and recreate the new Scooby-Doo Mysteries intro. He clashes with the others. They run upstairs to the glockenspiel. Santa fixes it. Fred breaks them out of the ice they were frozen in. Santa vanishes before freezing. Snowman gets hit by a robot elf, and the trio join the boys. Fred clears the snow and takes off the helmet to be...
Baby and Mango.
The uncle comes in and tells us what he figured out.
You tried to ruin the business and make me look crazy. That's right, dear uncle. If I could make you disappear, I could sell the store and get all the money.
And then everyone tells us his monster antics.
You used the silver iodide in the rockets to lace the clouds and cause the snowstorm.
And like he used the remote control snowman on miniature train tracks.
And of course, you created your terrible frost with liquid nitrogen. Add to that some ice canids, and you could shapeshift as well.
He says the thing...
Well, I still would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling mystery solvers and your Christmas crazy dog!
The boys learn they were with the real Santa. The film ends with Scooby as Santa, hearing what kids want for Christmas. Roll the credits. Now, my thoughts on this episode, or on this short film, whatever. It's great. We got a scary monster, a monster that could freaking morph into whatever. And like he morphed 3 heads a couple times, he morphed into a spider a couple times. Like it was a snowman that could morph into anything, and that was amazing. And like I already said, I love the callback to a classic show. The similarities, the reason it is a callback is because of all the similarities, like running into the stuffed animal, running through the blow-up doll, and then into the boxes, and him spinning out. Like that is if you don't know Scooby-Doo, you wouldn't get that. It was cool because he roared into the intro. At the end of the intro, he roared back into the short film, which I kind of just thought was pretty cool. because I never picked up on it until I was writing notes for this video. Anyway, now on to our next Christmas-themed episode. From Be Cool Scooby Doo, Scary Christmas. The episode starts off with some kids setting up for Santa. Then, they go out the window and the pterodactyl attacks. Roll the intro. After the intro, we learn
There's no better place to celebrate Christmas than Rockwellville.
Clearly, they take their holiday fun very seriously.
the boys work out for non-stop chow down. They check in on Daphne, and we learn it's her birthday as well. And it's always overshadowed by Christmas. Wonder where that plot thread came from. Fred's goal in Rockwell was to find a Christmas mystery. We learn of pterodactyl events from some carolers. That intrigues only Velma, noting
I'll bet it has to do with that archaeological dig we passed on our way into town.
Fred doubts it, and it appears. They get grabbed and brought into the air. Fred releases them and flies them to safety. They go to an orphanage, but then Fred is won over and they go to the site nearby. A miner comes out thinking they're the new volunteer. This guy is Dr. Mesmet. He doubts there's been a pterodactyl and tells us,
We found a pterodactyl nest, perfectly preserved. Someone thought they spotted preserved eggs as well. Why, they'd be priceless.
an original volunteer arrives, David, saying he wanted to bring more volunteers but couldn't get them. The miners get to work and the gang go back to the orphanage. Fred makes some deals, transforms the van into a gym of sorts. On the way to the mayor's office, they're attacked. They talk to the mayor and we learn.
Besides, look what they unleashed. The downside is some of the funding for the dig went to the orphanage since the site was on their land.
Boys find a wrapping machine and manage to wrap themselves in it. We learn from the mayor about this Hollister guy. He needs to finish the star for the tree, and he's redesigned it a couple times. Fred finds that intriguing. They go back to the orphanage. Follow a trail of Christmas bows. The van drops, and the pterodactyl attacks them. Scooby and Daphne are taken. Cue the music and chase. They sit on the curb and think of their failures. We then meet Alistair and go into his store and learn a little bit about him.
You must love Christmas.
Hate it. I'm an artist. People pay me to make this holiday garbage. Otherwise, I wouldn't get near this pit of a town.
They have one last chance to stop the pterodactyl. The pterodactyl attacks, taking the tree. They fly after it. They blind it with silly string. They catch the falling presents. They knock into the pterodactyl into some lights, wrapping it up. They look like Santa. Then Fred opens it to be. We get his motive from everyone and his team up with Alistair.
David was part of the volunteer team that discovered the pterodactyl nest at the archaeological dig. He also volunteered at City Hall and hid the egg by wrapping it with a present, which unfortunately got mixed up with the others.
David decided he had to steal all of the presents by taking the entire tree. Enter the pterodactyl.
He realized in order to successfully grab the tree, he needed help. Alistair Leventhal's help, to be exact.
Leventhal agreed to redesign the star on the top of the tree to match the specifications David needed to take it away. That's why he redesigned it.
David almost says the thing.
Like it looks like they'll be taking him away instead.
Oh, we would have gotten away with it too if... Oh, be quiet. We didn't.
With a simple present, Fred saves the orphanage. They sing happy birthday to Daphne, then the episode ends. My thoughts on this episode. I was kind of getting annoyed by Fred wanting to find a Christmas mystery because the third time they went to the orphanage after Velma said, I know where we need to go next, that I was kind of getting a little annoyed. And also, Daphne's birthday being on Christmas, I wonder where they got that plot thread from, like I said already. A Scooby Doo Halloween, it's Daphne's friend's birthday on Halloween and always gets overshadowed by Halloween. So yeah, Daphne's birthday gets overshadowed by Christmas. So yeah, those are the only two thoughts I really had on this. Fred being really annoying about not even acknowledging the pterodactyl mystery, and Daphne's birthday being on Christmas. So yeah, Now, onto, from my research, the last episode in the theme of Christmas, also from Be Cool Scooby Doo. That being Scroogy Doo. The episode starts off with an opening of a book titled Scroogy Doo. In the past, Scrooge gets a haunting message and attacked. Roll the intro. The gang talk about their travel. They go to exchange cash for British currency at Scrooge's. They meet Bob Cratchit and his 5 Tims and Greg. Seems like he's a fan of Danny Gonzalez. They go up to Scrooge and they learn of the ghosts. They want to help by going to his place and look for clues. The doctor comes and checks on Scrooge. They use candles as lights. They then see the ghost of Christmas past. Velma gets hit by the trance. Young Velma meets the gang and goes off with them. Velma is then taunted by the ghost.
All of your ideas and inventions were eventually discovered by others. Your destiny was destroyed.
Velma comes back. She starts to think it's real. Scrooge then tells us his experience with the past ghost. Then Daphne gives us the ghost's motive.
It seems like these ghosts are trying to do good in the world by showing Scrooge the spirit of Christmas.
They split up. Fred and Velma go to Scrooge's office while the others stay at the house. Velma finds a note from Bob Cratchit. Velma tries asking Fred if there's more than mysteries. She gets frustrated, storms off, and is visited by the ghost of Christmas present. He shows her the imposium that they are there for. She can't understand that she is not there because she keeps trying to tell them that she's there. Then he shows what the others are actually doing. They set up for Christmas. One of the coins reads, Gub Mahabaha. Then the ghost taunts her again.
We have better things to do than investigate the origin of some coin.
But Fred, that was a clue.
See, they need you more than you need them.
Velma returns to reality. Then the ghost appears behind Velma. That activates our music and chase. Velma goes off on the gang. As Velma tries to convince herself the ghosts are wrong, the ghost of Christmas yet to come appears. The old gang trap a goblin, being Velma. Velma wakes in front of a mirror and rushes to the trap. They trap the ghost of Christmas yet to come, and Fred unmasks it to be the doctor. Velma explains everything.
When Buckley found a letter from Bob Cratchit asking for help with Tiny Tim's illness, he saw a way to expand his patient list by getting Scrooge to spend his money on other people's illnesses. He just had to convince Scrooge to care about the well-being of people like the Cratchits as much as he did his own. So, Dr. Buckley dressed as ghosts and confronted Scrooge with moments from his past, present, and future that would scare him into changing his miserly ways. And it almost worked. But I figured out what Scrooge had yet to. We were being hypnotized. The gold coin Scrooge gave us was inscribed Gugma Hog. Left standing in front of the mirror in Scrooge's office, I realized Buckley was able to hypnotize both Scrooge and me by catching our eye with the reflection of the coin.
And makes that her presentation for the meeting. The dog gets pulled away saying, I know I was gonna take all of his cash, but I was gonna make him a better person. And then Bob says,
Wonderful work, kids. You've doomed us all.
Then the book closes, and then raccoons jump at us, and then the credits roll. My thoughts on this? I liked that they time traveled a bit. The whole going to the 1850s and then going to the past and the future. And then and I also liked how Velma was the Scrooge of the story. And then I love that the culprit was trying to do something good, but then the gang ruined it and made it worse. And I think when they were doing the chase scene, they kind of were making the ghost of Christmas present into what he was like in the movies or whatever, with like a, you know. So there you have it. All the Christmas episodes of Scooby Doo. In this, we had 2 snowmen, 1 pterodactyl, few different ghosts of Christmas, past, present, yet to come, and never. 1 ghost to warn Scrooge. I love the What's New episode, mainly because I grew up with it. But my favorite has to be Haunted Holidays, mainly because of the animation style. And that monster is freaking terrifying. Which one was your favorite? Hope you got some good presents this year. I hope I did too, but being 23, nothing's good anymore. Anyway, click here to the playlist of all the reviews I've done. There are many more to come next year. And then click here for the latest video that I have uploaded. And then, like I said, subscribe so you don't miss out on all those reviews coming out next year. So yeah. Peace.